Hey, it's Golden Buddha here, and today I have one of the most craziest stories you've ever seen, okay? You've ever heard, because you weren't there, okay? And pray to whatever God that you believe in, that you never have to experience this for yourself, okay? This was the craziest, most fucked up game of Cyberpunk I've ever been in. It's the room of sessions, okay? It's I can't do it justice right now by just trying to describe it like this, so I'm just gonna tell you the whole thing, okay? In its full entirety. This is the tale of Chepstein's Island. Okay, so before we get into this, I gotta give you guys some context, okay? So Jack, which is the guy who ran the game, he had expressed the desire to run this for like a while. Like at the end of some games, he'd be like, hey, I have this idea for this game, guys. And he'd like type it in general or just outright say it. And he said, get this, okay? You have to go to Jeffrey Epstein's private island and just kill him. And it got the kind of response that you would expect from that. Mostly awkward silence and a whole lot of So, but you know, and I was one of those people, I was one of those people. Basically, he said, oh, I'd be running at such and such a day. Because we're all on the Cyberpunk server. I talked with one of my friends, and he said, well, that shit sounds kind of whack. And I'm like, you right, but I don't want to crush this guy's dreams, man. He might be the best DM ever, you know? He might like become the next Matt Mercer. You know what I'm saying? I can't step on that. I can't put down his dreams. I'm sitting here, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go in with an open mind. Okay, I'm gonna roll up a character, go in with an open mind, and that's gonna be that. So I rolled up a corporate named Baby. That's his code name, his handle. He got fired from his corporation. He was a senior exec. He got fired for gross incompetence, and he feels like Epstein had something to do with it. Like he spread some rumors about him and got him fired. Baby, he's this suave, well-dressed, like a Armani suits always, and he's always about his money. That's the main thing. And the severance package he got was not enough. So he's going in this mission with the express intent of getting that money and fucking this guy over, fucking Epstein over. I roll up his character and I come to the game. I forget which day it was. There's two other players there with me. Two other characters. There's Frankie, the media, and Frankie, he's trying to get the scoop on Epstein. He's like, yo, I'm gonna find all of the child porn, okay? I'm gonna find it all, and I'm gonna expose this motherfucker for the piece of shit he is, okay? And I'm gonna be the best reporter ever. And then we have Akinori. Akinori, he showed up in a few other campaigns. And Akinori, he is nothing to fuck with, all right? He is a combat Borg. Actually, take that back. He's not a combat Borg. But the player made him a combat Borg. And when he pulls out those dual mono katanas, you don't even want to be in the same city as him. So, yeah, so basically we have these three characters, and, Jack comes, and he's just like, okay, guys, you ready? And so we start off on the outskirts of Night City, well, in the wastelands outside of Night City. And we're talking to some nomad guy, like we're in a nomad camp, and he's just telling us, well, we found the location to Epstein, and he's like, well, we found out where he is. We found the location of his island, and we're paying you 1,000 each to go kill him. And so Frankie, he speaks up, and he's like, you're paying us 1,000 to go kill a guy we already don't like? Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay. Baby, he's just like, well, whatever gets me paid, that's fine, and this guy's got to have money on his island. He has a private island, so he's loaded. And Akinori, he's just, I forget the reason for him being there, but we're all just like, okay, where's the island? And so this guy tells us, well, it's out in the Pacific. And we're just like, okay, that's a big body of water, that's a whole ocean. You gotta give us more than that. And he's just like, well, that's what we got. And so we go back to like some bar, and we're just like, okay, what the fuck do we do? So me being a corporate, I use my resources to kind of like set up a meeting with Epstein And I also use my resources because, okay, give you a little bit of context. Corporates have this special ability called resources where they can just basically like call up, call up like a corporate, you know, like get money because they work for a company. So it's just like, oh yeah, I need to borrow the company car. Oh yeah, can we get an evac team right here? You know, it's all that bullshit. He calls up, not only does he call up a security squad from Orion, which is a good security company, he also calls up Epstein and sets up a fucking deal. And Epstein, he's like, yeah, I would be pleased to meet you. So we hire a few bodyguards, actually a total of 8 bodyguards. It turns out that Epstein wants to come pick us up. So we're just like, okay. So he's flying out his private jet to come meet us at the airfield. So we're just like, shit, let's go. I mean, if he's flying us out. Baby and Frankie and Akinori were kind of throwing ideas around. We're just like, how are we gonna take this guy out, you know? And I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna smooze him. You know, I'm gonna do my talkie, kiss his ass, all that shit. We're gonna get in there. Frankie, you're gonna get the evidence, and Akinori, you're gonna pull out the swords and do what you do if anything goes bad. That's the plan. We get to the airfield. The plane lands. This Asian lady walks out, an Asian secretary for Epstein. And so she walks out, and Jack starts doing the most terrible, like the stock typical, hey, honorable guest, would you like to go on the plane? We have refreshments. And she just starts talking like that. And so we're just like, okay. So we're just like, all right. So we start talking to her, and Baby reaches out his hand. He's just like, hey, nice to meet you, ma'am. I'm Baby. And then Jack just pipes up and he says, would you like to roll to seduce her? And I'm just like, no, I don't want to roll to seduce her. No, what? I'm just saying hi. I'm just putting out my hand. I mean, like, I'm doing the whole suave thing, you know, because I have a high attractiveness stat, and that's just what I do. But no, I'm not trying to seduce her. Not yet, anyway. Shit, we just met. So, you know, we try to get as much information as we can out of this secretary. But, you know, the fact that she's speaking broken English doesn't really help. So she takes us on the plane, and lo and behold, who's sitting there but Epstein? So now I need to explain the name Chepstein because this whole time we were told that he was Asian. He had a whole different name. I think it was Chong Sung or Sang Shung, but we all kept forgetting his fucking name. So instead, I started calling him Chepstein, as in Chinese Epstein. So we're all on the plane, and he's literally just sitting there, just chilling. And he's like, welcome. Nice to meet you, baby. And I go up and I shake his hand, and I'm just like, hey, how's it going? You know, I've heard a lot of stuff, you know, about you, a lot of good stuff. He's just like, well, I hope you're a fan of cheese pizza too. And I'm just like, cheese pizza? Of course, I love cheese pizza, man. That's great. Yeah, cheese pizza, I even like the ones with pepperoni. And so then Jack, out of character, starts to explain what cheese pizza means. Now, if you know what Pizzagate is, which I had an idea of what it was before this, but after this game, I knew more than I wanted to know about quote-unquote cheese pizza, which is codename for child porn. Jack explains the whole conspiracy thing to us, even though we didn't ask. We're just like, okay. But again, my character has to play along, you know, because he's like, I need this money, okay? And we need evidence on this bastard. Frankie starts grilling him, you know, he's just like, hey, what do you have to say about these accusations leveled against you? And Chepstein's like, I hope you don't have any cameras. Unbeknownst to Chepstein, Frankie had a camera eye. He technically didn't have a camera, but he definitely was recording. So I kind of like tap Frankie on the shoulder. I'm like, hey man, I gotta go take a piss. You wanna come with me? You know, cause help me find the bathroom. You know, you do that whole thing, you know, that they do all the time. We go to the bathroom, just like, hey man, let's just wait till we get to his island. Then you can grill him for the hard questions. But right now, we don't want him to turn this thing around and kick us off like the plane. He thinks I'm into that shit, so we got that going for us, okay? So I'm just gonna smooze him and just see what happens, and you just hang in there tight. And Frankie, he's like, okay, I can do that. No problem. So I go to the bathroom, then I go out and I go talk to the pilots up front. And then as I'm talking to the pilots, you know, I'm just asking them basic questions. Hey, how long have you worked for Chepstein? Oh, about 5 months. It's like, okay, do you know anything about his island specifically? And he's like, oh, it's a nice place. He pays really well. And, just typical questions, but these guys are obviously idiots, so they're just flying the plane. So I'm just like, okay, well, you guys have a nice flight and just don't fucking crash the plane. So I go back into the back, and Frankie's just, doing small talk with Chepstein. And so I'm just like, hey man, where's the champagne? Let's pour up, let's just kind of chill and get this going. And so we're getting into the refreshments. At this point, I'm just like, hey Chepstein, I don't mean to be offensive or anything, but do you happen to know any martial arts? And he's just like, yeah, I know a little. And so I'm just like, well, would you like to spar on the plane a little bit before we get to your home? And he's like, absolutely. Little does he know, Baby has has about 3 ranks in Jeet Kune Do. So he takes off his overcoat, puts up his hands, and he starts doing that little, the little juke, the little Bruce Lee bob. And there, pow, pow, hits him with like 2 hits. And Chepstein, he couldn't handle it. And this is when Jack does the funniest shit. He's, ow. When he gets hit in the face, that's how he reacts. Ow. And I was like, this isn't at all what I imagined him to sound like, but okay. He doesn't sound menacing. He's just some guy. I don't even think he had any cyberware or anything. He just knew a little bit of martial arts, and I knock him down. I'm just like, wait, whoa, Chepstein, are you okay? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm just like, okay, my bad. I didn't mean to hit you that hard. I just had to assert my dominance real quick. Basically, it was just to see if he had any skill in defending himself hand to hand, just kind of testing the waters, for when we killed him. After we got on the plane, out of character, like Akinori's player said, hey, he's on the plane. Can we just kill him right now? And I'm just like, no, we're not killing him right now because we need to get more evidence for Frankie, and we need to get my money. Because 1,000 isn't going to cut it. I need about 100 times that. Eventually, we land at Chepstein's island. And, it's a beautiful island, all that stuff. Big ass mansion. And we get out, and we see there's the huge mansion in the middle, right? In the middle of the island. Then to the left-hand side of the island, you see like this shed. And then to the right-hand side of the island, you see like an actual physical temple. And so we're looking at the temple, and we're just like, okay, what is this? What is this shit? And so I think one of us, I want to say it was me, but one of us rolled general knowledge, and Jack explains, oh yeah, that's a temple to the dark god Beelzebub. And so at this point, we're just like, what the fuck? Beelzebub? He's literally worshiping Satan. Okay, that's cool. And so we start following Chepstein in because, he's like, oh, come on. And so we follow him into his house. With our armed security, by the way. And we go further in, and he's just like, yeah, this is my place. It's pretty nice. And we're just like, yeah, man, this is a great place. We let Chepstein walk ahead a bit. And so I whisper to Frankie and Akinori, and I'm like, okay, here's the game plan, guys. Okay, Frankie, you're gonna figure out what you can from all these people here, from whoever's working here. Just interrogate them, get everything on film. Frankie's like, I got you. And also, if you can, find the money. Akinori, you go with Frankie and make sure he's safe. I'll take 4 of the bodyguards with me. You guys take 4 of them with you, and we should be able to make it through this, okay? And then Chepstein's like, well, here, come on, let's go see what's for dinner. And so I'm like, of course, Chepstein. Yep, I'll be right there, bro. And then I just kind of talk to them. I'm just like, keep me posted. And so I walk off behind Chepstein. I follow Chepstein into the kitchen. And he's like, that smells good. And so we walk into the kitchen, and the first thing we see is first thing Baby sees is the head of a middle-aged woman just sitting on the counter, just beheaded. And there's somebody in there that's fixing the food and everything. And so he's just like, yeah, she got too old. And so okay. And I'm just like, in real life, I'm just rubbing my fucking temples, and I'm just like, all right. He's a cannibal. He has sex slaves. He deals in child pornography, and he's eating the sex slaves that are too old. My character has to do everything he can to not kill this guy right here with his hidden pistol. And in character, I'm just like, okay, baby, think about the money. Think about the money. Think about the money. Think of the millions this man must have. Okay, just think about the money. Okay. So That was my motivation for this whole thing. It got me through this whole bullshit. Of course, I played up. I'm just like, hey, what? Cannibalism? Man, I love intestine, bruh. Human intestine, bruh. My mama made that for me when I was growing up. It's good shit. It's delicious. And he's like, well, once they're done, we'll come back down and eat and everything. And I'm like, okay, but before that, before we get to eating and all that stuff, you mind if I like see your room and all that stuff? Like because you probably have a really great house and I just want to see the whole thing. And he's like, yeah, of course. And so he starts taking me further down the hall. So we cut back to Akinori and Frankie. Now, at this point, another character, Brass, had joined. Now, Brass, he is another character just like Akinori that you don't want to fuck with. He's heavily cybered, okay? He totes a fucking auto shotgun, among other automatic weapons that you don't want to fuck with. Just a big ass, and so he kind of jumped in the game. We kind of retconned it so that he was part of the security force that we had hired. So Brass, Frankie, and Akinori, they start kind of like interrogating some of the people around the island. They actually end up running into the accountant of Chepstein, and they're just like, well, hey, what do you know about all of this stuff? Like, what can you tell us? Because you're gonna give it up. Frankie's just interrogating them, and these other two cyber fucking Borgs are just standing up behind him, like looking intimidating as fuck. And eventually he gives it up, and he spills the beans. He tells them where the kids are. He tells them he tells us what he's done, and he tells us about the cannibalism. He tells us about, he's a worshiper of Beelzebub too. Because why not? Out of character, me and some of the players are DMing and we're just like, yo, this is the wackiest shit. Is this real? This can't be, this isn't like real life, right? This isn't Cyberpunk, right? This is something like, this is from the mind of madness. They end up getting information about the money, and they find out that Chepstein keeps $2,000 under his bed. Why this powerful man would keep $2,000 under his bed is beyond me. And he also has a safe in his room with a shotgun trap. With a shotgun, you open the safe and there's a shotgun floating in there and it shoots you. And so at this point, me, out of character, me, Alex, I lost it. I fucking lost it. I was like, what? He has a shotgun in the safe. You're telling me this man, and I had to mute my mic because I was literally yelling into the mic. It was that fucking ridiculous. It was that crazy. I had to mute my mic. I had to go back and make a sandwich. I had to get off and make a sandwich. I think I made 3 sandwiches during that whole game because it calmed me down. It calmed my nerves. Okay, turkey sandwich with lettuce, tomatoes, and cheese. Anyways, that's not the point. Cutting back to, so baby, he's ready to fucking ready to leave, but he's like, I gotta get the money. So we go upstairs and Chepstein starts showing off his room, and he has this massive bobblehead collection in his room, which is actually pretty shitty for the room of like a man this powerful, supposedly. All you see these bobbleheads, and he's like, there's like 200 and something bobbleheads up there, and all of them are important figures. We're talking corporation heads, we're talking senators, we're talking members of the House, he even has Johnny Silverhand up there, and we all called bullshit on that. Like, no, there's no way Johnny Silverhand's a fucking pedophile. Okay, apparently he has all these men in his pocket, and they've all been here and partaken in cannibalism and fucking all that shit. He shows me that, and I'm just like, wow, that's pretty cool, man. That's amazing. And I'm just like, what kind of computer is that? Because of course he has a computer in his room. And I'm like, what kind of computer is that? Can we can you show me? Because I show him my like mini laptop, and he's just like, that's really nice. Well, here, let me show you mine. And he opens up his computer, which he has some stupid ass passcode, which is like 12345. And I'm just looking over his shoulder, just noting this down. And he opens it up. He goes straight to the child porn folder. Of course. He's like, you like what you see? And I'm just like, yeah, I like what I see. Of course. What? Of course. Man, that's some great stuff. That's some great stuff, Chepstein. Honestly, that's pretty damn cool. We cut away back to Frankie and the gang. They've already found out what they needed to know. And Brass, he's like, we're not letting any of you motherfuckers live at all. Period. It's done. It's over. And so Brass takes this man and this accountant, and he just puts his thumbs in his eyes and just rips his fucking head apart. And the man, before he dies, cries out, "Help, guard!" And so Brass's player was like, what do you mean he cries out, "Help, guard"? The only thing he should be crying is for his mother. That's it. Like, he shouldn't be saying anything. He should be screaming in terror and pain and dying. And everyone else pretty much chimed in fucking agreement. But, you know, the guards would have heard regardless. The guards come, but we have guards outside too, so a firefight ensues. Akinori pulls out his mono blades, and he starts going down the hallway and just starts cutting down guards left and right, just with the fucking mono blades, which basically they have your armor. They're fucking great. So he's just chopping people up left and right. Brass pulls out the auto shotgun and the fucking machine gun and just starts spraying down everybody. He goes into the kitchen. And they're just like, "Help, wait, don't hurt me." Like some damn Postal 2 NPCs. He's just like, nope, everybody's dying. And just shooting up everyone. Okay? He's like, nope, everybody's, he goes full Doomslayer. Both of them. Frankie, I don't even think Frankie had to fire a shot. I don't think he had time because of the massacre that Akinori and Brass were putting this whole fucking island. So eventually, they're just firing. We cut back to Baby and Chepstein, and Chepstein, of course, he hears the gunshots and he's like, what's happening? And he runs into his closet, which has metal bars on it for some reason. So he closes that and locks it. And, you know, I'm just like, wait, whoa, I'm trying to play dumb. I'm just like, wait, what are you doing? Wait, you're just gonna let me out here? What kind of fucking host are you? You're just gonna let me die with these maniacs with guns? And you know, I make my persuasion roll and he lets me in. Or he opens the door, should I say. So as soon as he opens the door, I punch him in the fucking face. And then he says, "Ow," again. And then he closes the door on my arm. Now, I try to make like a strength feat to pull open the door. And this is actually where we had a bit like of a rules quibble. Because basically, Jack said, "Oh, he slams the door on your arm. You take 1d6 damage." And I'm just like, wait, hold on. My Armani suit is armored. I'm probably stronger than him. I'm almost certain I'm stronger than him. So it should probably be an opposed roll. And so Jack, being the new DM he was just like, "Yeah, okay, yeah." And so I roll strength to try to get the door open, but no, it doesn't work. Chepstein slams the door in my fucking face. And Chepstein goes, "Nah, nanny boo boo." Ha ha. And so I pull out my Derringer and I just shoot him in the fucking leg because I'm done. I'm done. And so I just go on this fucking rant. I'm just like, "Chepstein, this is your fucking fault, okay? I didn't get my fucking money, and I'm gonna get the fucking money. You're gonna tell me all where your fucking money's at. You're gonna tell me what you did with everything. We're getting all of it, okay? I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of this cannibalism. I'm sick of this child porn. I'm sick of this whole motherfucking island, okay? I've had enough. I'm done." Yeah, I think I stepped away at that point to get another turkey sandwich, probably, to calm down. And so then we cut back to Brass and Akinori, again, enacting this whole massacre. And then they go out to the shed, right? And then they find that that in the shed, it's just a shed with a padlock on it. So of course, these two fucking cyborgs, they break open the door because it just has a padlock on it. And they go in there and there's a total of 40 kids. 20 girls, 20 boys. And one caretaker that seemed to be like she could have been, 19, 20, 21, that kind of age group. They're just sitting there like cowering and all that stuff. And they're just like, "Oh, don't hurt us." And so Brass, he's like, "Hey, you," and points to the caretaker, "You, come here." And so she walks up. And then Akinori starts saying, "All of this stuff that you've done, all of this you've been a part of, all of this madness that you've done, can you live with yourself after that?" And then the girl, she kind of looks up and she says, "No, I don't think I can." And Brass says, "Bet." And so Akinori slashes her in half, cuts her torso off, and then fucking grabs her torso, puts it on the ground, and then Brass comes in with the field goal kick and it's good! It's good! Kicks her head right off into the fucking ocean. It was amazing. And we had fully embraced the insanity of Chepstein at that point. Chepstein's island changes you. Whew, it changes you. They didn't kill the kids. They definitely killed her. So while all that nonsense is going on, I'm upstairs standing in front of Chepstein, and he's in this locked closet, bleeding out, and 2 of his guards come in, and they're just like, hey, what's going on? And I turn around, pistol in hand, and say, look at me. I'm the captain now. And so I roll persuasion to see if I can get these guys on my side, but they just level their guns at me, and I'm just like, you really want to do this? Guards. And so I call my other 4 guards that I had standing outside, and they come behind these 2 dumbass guards and just relieve them of their weapons. And so I'm just like, cool, get those weapons from them, get all that, I'm gonna search the room. Then at this point, Frankie calls me, or I call Frankie, I forget which one. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? And he's just like, yo, Brass and Akinori, they're enacting Columbine, Electric Boogaloo 2, and it's just crazy. And we found the kids. And I'm like, I don't give a shit about those kids. Did you find the money? And he's just like, yeah, there's $2,000 under his mattress, and he has a safe. And I was just like, cool. And at this point, everybody's like, but wait, there's a shotgun in the safe. And so at this point, Jack wants to be a dick, and he's just like, wait, well, did you remember that there was a shotgun in the safe? And I just start yelling. I'm just like, how the fuck could he forget? He had the whole thing videotaped. He's been videotaping since before we got on the plane. Are you telling me this motherfucker didn't remember that there was a shotgun in a safe in the year 2020 where there's laser optic beams and fucking AIs that can guard shit and just key card, and he has a fucking shotgun booby trap like this is D&D? And Jack's like, yeah, you're right, that's kind of stupid. And so I have to go make another sandwich at that point. Not really. But I'm just flabbergasted, okay? I'm yelling at him out of character and in character. So Frankie, he's like, yeah, there's a shotgun in the safe. I'm like, noted, okay? I'm gonna get the money, I'm gonna bag it up, and then I'm gonna just see what I can find on his computer. So I go to get to his computer and I try to log into it. I fuck up. I think I rolled a nat 1 at that point. Computer's fried. And so I'm just like, okay, fuck. Okay, so there goes his fucking bank accounts and all that shit. All right, fuck. And I'm just thinking like, how can I salvage this? How can I get the money that I need? And I just start digging through his desk. I'm like, okay, he's got to have some checks, some bank statements here, something. And so I start pulling it out. I can forge it. The smoke from the computer wafts up to the sprinklers and sets him off in his room. All of the documents are trashed. I'm like, God damn it. And so I'm just fucking throwing a bitch fit. I'm just like, okay, all right, fine. There's got to be something in here. There's got to be something. So I'm just digging in the room. Then we cut back to Akinori and Brass, and they go to the temple, and they see like this pastor up here, and he's like a priest to Beelzebub, and he's just like, oh, hail Beelzebub, and they just kill his ass. They just fuck him all the way up. At this point, we're just like, we're just all laughing. We've embraced the insanity that is Chepstein, and we're just fully inside of this, just completely immersed. They basically just set the fucking temple on fire. They take it out. They destroy the temple. They blow out the glass stained windows, and then flies start buzzing around the priest's corpse. And everybody's like, what the fuck? Like, is this gonna be like a final boss fight or some shit? But that would have been very un-cyberpunk. So I guess Jack was just like, never mind. They go back inside eventually, and they meet up with me. At this point, I'm out of options, okay? So Baby takes off his coat again, and he just starts like, he's like, okay. And he starts looking at the guards, and he's just like, okay, one of you motherfuckers is gonna tell me where the money is. Otherwise, I'm not even gonna say otherwise you die. Everyone here is dying. I'm gonna do something. I'm ready to just go full fucking mafia boss and just start wailing on him. Eventually, the rest of the gang, they get back up to the top. They come in the room and they're just like, what the fuck's going on? And I'm just like, these motherfuckers better tell me where the money is. And they're just like, whoa, you killed Chepstein? I'm like, yeah, he's dead, whatever, I don't give a shit. Frankie's like, we gotta make it look like it was a suicide. And I'm just like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. And so we basically break open the bars, because again, we have 2 fucking robots with us. We open the safe and put his face in front of it so it blows his head off, and then we sit him there. So at this point, I'm like, yes, the safe's open. Whew, this is the money I've been waiting for. There's got to be something in there, right? Well, There was a shotgun in there. We knew that. But instead of there being money, there was a letter saying, hey, you opened the safe. Good job. And that was it. It was just fuck you. That was what was in the safe. A fuck you. That was in the safe. That's all. And so at this point, I'm just like, okay, where is the money? And at this point, I don't know whether I was yelling in character or out of character at the DM. I'm just like, you're telling me this man who has a private jet, he has an entire mansion, a temple dedicated to Beelzebub he owns a private island, okay? That alone costs millions, okay? You're telling me he knows all of these senators, okay? He has all these connections, the means to do this whole like slavery ring and all that shit, but he has no money. This is the most backward shit. And this is a part I forgot. He also invented coronavirus too. Yeah, he just offhandedly said, oh yeah, and I invented coronavirus. Like, I didn't even ask him about it. He just said it. Anyways, so at this point, we're just interrogating the guards, and Akinori says like the coldest shit. And he's just like, hey, you know what? If you tell him where the money and where the stuff is, I'll just like slide this mono blade just like right in between your spine and just sever it so you don't feel as much pain. And I'm just like, yeah, what he said. Jack was like, oh, okay, there's a deed in the accountant's desk. And I'm like, great, good. Where's the fucking accountant's desk? I can work with this. And he's like, it's downstairs. That's what Frankie tells me. And so I just run full speed downstairs. I'm just going ape shit. And I'm start digging in the desk, and they're setting up everything, and they're just like, okay, well, how do we get off the island? And they also like follow me downstairs, and they're just like, where the fuck is he going? Why? I dig into the desk and I find the deed, and they come to the accountant's room and they look at me, and I just immediately regain composure, you know, straighten up my tie. I'm just like, gentlemen, we're happy. Let's get the fuck off this island. And so now we start going back and forth. We're like, okay, well, how are we getting off this island? Because those pilots gotta die too. Anybody put points in piloting? Brass is like, no, I'm a cyborg. Akinori's like, no. Frankie, no points. Me, I had a whole bunch of other skills, but yeah, didn't bother to put points into fucking piloting. So we're just like, what do we do? How do we get off this island? And they're just like, well, we could kill them after we leave, and when we land, and they're just like, no, that's not gonna work, because then we're gonna have to get rid of their bodies after that. And it's just, no, they're dying. We might be able to call Hydra, and maybe he could give us an evac. And Hydra is he's basically a big executive for one of for the Orion company. So basically, the guys we got bodyguards from, he's one of the owners of the company. So I roll resources to see if I can fucking call him up. And so I do. It's funny because the Brass's player is actually also Hydra's player as well. So we're having this conversation. He's just like, what the fuck are you doing calling me from Chepstein's island? I'm not with that shit. Okay, whatever he has going on, you think I'm some sick fuck too? And I'm like, no, that's not it. And so he just hangs up the phone. So the thing about Hydra's character is he's kind of like Big Boss, and the fact that he has a lot of child soldiers. So we're just like, we have 40 kids here, very traumatized, and you know and we don't have a way to get them off the island. So I call Hydra back, and Hydra's just like, I told you, I'm not dealing with that island or Chepstein or you if you're dealing with him. And I'm just like, wait a minute. Okay, first off, Chepstein's dead. Okay, we're no friends of Chepstein. Secondly, we got 40 kids on this island that need a home and a hot meal, possibly employment. We need an evac, and we need some cleanup crews. How about we do a little exchange? And Hydra's just like, I think that'll do nicely. And so I became a monster. I sold these children into corporate slavery so we could get off the fucking island. It was crazy. Yeah, that's pretty much where the session ended. And then Jack, he kind of said, hey, you know, I'm glad you guys had so much fun. What do you guys think of doing a whole campaign of this where you're just hunting down pedophiles? I immediately, no, Jack. No, we're not doing that. No one wants to do that. I'm sorry, Jack. We've had fun, okay? Had some good laughs, some good times, but now we need to go, okay? And I need to make another sandwich. That's that. And yeah, that's the tale of Chepstein's Island. I hope you enjoyed yourself. because I did. Telling this. I've told this about 20 fucking times, but it still doesn't seem real. It's the best, worst game I've ever been. Best, worst session. Like and subscribe for more content. And as always, this is Golden Buddha telling you to stay enlightened and stay safe.